It makes your, like, for me, it just pulls me forward.
It's just
really badass.
Explosive.
And I feel like the whole time in this song, Grohl's trying to say, what's the fewest notes that I can play for the sake of making this as powerful as possible.
Hello and welcome back to Professional Musicians React.
We want to start by just saying a huge thank you to the community, everybody who's been watching, leaving comments, making suggestions for what we should be listening to. Thank you so much. Please keep it coming. We're having a blast making the show. Can't wait for next year. We got a whole bunch of stuff planned for the next year. So thank you for joining and being part of this.
Today we're breaking down two songs from two of the greatest drummers of all time. We have John Bonham from Led Zeppelin and Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, Nirvana. And with us, we have one of our favorite drummers of all time, Mr. Darren King, DK the drummer. Darren was a drummer in one of our favorite bands of all time, MUTEMATH. Jack and I grew up in Marin. We're in Marin County right now. We grew up listening to MUTEMATH, listening to Darren. I can't believe you're here. We're here with you right now.
I've seen you perform so many times with MUTEMATH at Fillmore, at Slim's. I can't believe. I mean, we got to play together in a Scary Pockets recording recently, but like seriously, you are one of my favorite drummers. And listening to you play just now in soundcheck was like just absolutely filled me up. I can't wait for you to lay it down in this historic room.
Well, that means a lot coming from y'all.
So Darren was one of the founding members of MUTEMATH, a writer of MUTEMATH. He puts out songs under DK the drummer, and he has a band with his wife called Sucre, and his wife is Stacy Dupree. He's a producer. He's contributed to work of Kanye West. He has a new soft synth. Am I saying that right? Soft synth?
Yo, I'm releasing a contact instrument soon. I started a company. It's called Thick Audio. We're making sample packs and contact synths and instruments and sample libraries.
I use your sample pack all of the time.
Thank you.
For the last however many years they've been available.
I need your sample pack.
Oh,
I
shit.
need that.
It's on the way. They're coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And to his left, we have Jack Conte, co-founder of Scary Pockets and Pomplamoose, also CEO of Patreon.
And of course, we got Ryan Lerman here. Ryan is my partner in crime, co-founder in Scary Pockets. Ryan is MD'd for John Legend and played guitar for Michael Bublé, and then is bass player for Ben Folds and has been playing with and touring with Ben Folds for many years. We're also joined by Tim Sonnenfeld, our engineer. Tim is a Grammy Award-winning engineer. Tim, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here with you guys, always.
Woo-hoo. Before we get going, soundcheck was just, Darren, that was amazing. Can you just lay something down for us to just kick us off? Just whatever you want to sound check, just play. Wait, before Darren lays it down, we are in a historic room in Marin County, California. This is the Record Factory now, formerly known as the Record Plant. And this room is where Rumors was recorded.
That room.
Oh, that room. Okay, but this studio is where Rumors was recorded.
Songs in the Key of Life.
Stevie Wonder.
Metallica. Prince recorded here. Ry Cooder recorded here. Metallica literally raised the roof of this room.
By 40 feet. Metallica had
40 feet?
40 feet. They had the roof raised 40 feet so that it sounded bigger. And we're about to hear what that sounds like with freaking Darren King laying it down on drums. Darren, take us away with some funky shit.
I mean, if I think about Stevie Wonder playing here, and I think about what he played, he would have played Sir Duke here, which had a nice, right? He had a good swing.
Yeah!
You know, I don't know what else. What would we play?
Yes. Okay, one more thing before we jump in. And if we sound like loud idiots, it's because we're wearing so much ear protection. Because Darren hits so fucking hard. You gotta have like 60 decibels of reduction to not become deaf.
Not Darren.
Yeah, I lost those frequencies so long ago.
You hit harder than most any drummer I've ever played with. You hit so hard, and it brings out a different like level in the drums and a different tone in the drums. It's so interesting. But okay, what is a groove that you have? A groove, a beat, a backing track, some rhythmic percussive thing in a song recently that has stood out to you that folks at home should check out? Some new, fresh, awesome groove that you think is just...
I've got one.
What do you got?
Tom York made a playlist of like songs he was inspired by or something like that that I like listened through a while ago, and there was a song on there by Spank Rock. Do you guys know Spank Rock?
Yes.
Called Tell Me What It Looked Like.
Wanna have a thing to do with. Can't blame them for the look, can't name them cause they should took under some whip protect. Stay with your kid more, fuck around with me more, make you look.
Okay, so what the first thing that came to my mind was an artist named Rival Consoles.
I got the new single from Unknown Mortal Orchestra, which is one of my favorite bands. I just love everything they do. Speaking of cool drum sounds, let's jump into our songs for the day. We're gonna start with Led Zeppelin, Good Times, Bad Times. Hey, Tim, can you tell us a little bit about this song?
All right, Good Times, Bad Times. It was produced by Jimmy Page, who's playing guitar on the record. It is the first track from their first record, which is just, I always think of my 19-year-old dad dropping the needle on that record for the first time and just his mind being more blown than I can ever imagine. It's crazy. Rolling Stone praised the record. It said Jimmy Page's guitar pounces from the speakers, fat with menace. John Bonham's kick drum swings with anvil force. Robert Plant rambles on about the perils of manhood. Hard rock will never be the same. That's great.
Wow. That is a review that would not be written in 2021.
It's so hard. We can fight man and
Perils of Manhood.
Oh, here we go. This is Led Zeppelin, Good Times, Bad Times.
Is that an overdub?
Yeah,
Cowbell?
what is that?
Cowbell? Overdub?
I think you played it.
I was told what it means to be a man.
Yeah, overdub.
Reached that age, I've tried to do all those things the best I can. No matter how I try, I find my way to the same old jam. Good times, bad times, you know I've had my share. When my woman left home for a brown-eyed man, but I still don't seem to care. Sitting on his feet, I fell in love with a girl as sweet as could be. It only took a couple of days for she was.
Oh my God.
Yes! Jesus Christ. Jesus! It just feels so good. It hits so hard. It's hard to know even where to start. Darren, what do you notice when you hear that?
That he's not holding back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so just that he went, like, just turn everything up. That's it. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that approach. No one told the drummer, hey, that's a few too many fills. And if they did, he's like, yeah, great. Okay, great. And he just played what he like. And then John gets to go off. Everybody gets to shred. Everyone's just full court press.
What is so interesting about this, it seems like the edge between jazz and rock in that there's not a lot of parts that are repeated, right? The drum part, it's kind of through composed, and the guitar part, like that A guitar riff, changes after the first chorus is a different guitar part. It's more through composed than it is part police.
It's a complicated song.
Yeah.
It goes through different keys and there's motifs, do you know what I mean? Like to the drum approach, the fills, the triplety fills and the kick drum on the triplets, like that's kind of going throughout the whole thing. And then the way that Jimmy Page is riffing with those like the 3-note pentatonic runs up and down.
Yeah.
Classic, iconic Jimmy Page. A 3-note pentatonic run. Well, a pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale. That's a minor pentatonic scale. And so what Jimmy Page did a lot is to take 3 of those notes and come down the scale that way. So that's something you hear him do a lot. It's happening throughout the whole time, but yeah, it's a weird song. Like if I had to write out the form right now, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I actually was writing out the form because it was so fucked up. It's basically verse, chorus, new section, chorus, solo, chorus, original verse.
Yeah. One thing that I love about Led Zeppelin that you can hear in the song is that it sounds like normally when we go in to make a recording, you're listening to the singer, you're listening to the words, you're supporting. Like, this is a fucking brawl. They are all clawing for attention. Do you know what I mean? Like, the gloves are off and they're just duking it out. The vocal is not the king in this track, but things keep like peeking out and becoming the most important thing and winning the fight. And it just makes for like, it's not polite.
Again, one of the things that makes it more like jazz is it's impossible to separate the song from the musicians.
Right.
This song, played by different musicians, is not this song anymore. Like, what makes this song is the musicianship and the personality of those musicians. Like, Darren, I bet you can play this drum beat. It's not gonna sound like that. It's gonna sound like Darren King playing this drum beat. There's so much personality in that drum beat.
Here's yes and. Here's a yes and. One of the most important things I think about Zeppelin is the way they feel time together.
Yeah.
Which goes to why 4 other guys playing this song wouldn't sound like that, because it's not on a grid. And they all have such unique, strong ways that they feel time, and the sound of the band is what happens when those approaches come together.
Yeah, that's something I realized, that I'm not just a fan of music. I'm not just a fan of certain songs or certain individuals. I'm a lover of the idea of bands. And I love that every now and then a certain group of people gang up, and it just so happens that their strengths and weaknesses, everything about them, their foibles, everything combines to create a force, and that's what that is.
Yes.
And bands can, people can change their, and they can morph, they can go through all, but this happens to catch a band that had something. I mean, obviously it's blatantly derivative of all the American black artists, the jazz, soul, and funk that they were taking ideas from. I feel like Bonham in particular was a rhythmically innovative performer. I don't think that, I think that he took those influences and went somewhere interesting with them. I wish that in their time they had been more, I guess, vocal about who they were listening to. And I think that now we have, through the advent of the internet, the opportunity to dig and find all the artists that they were listening to. And I think they probably have talked about who their heroes were and who they were emulating. But to me, that sounds like, a British dude trying to be a funk drummer, but he's just got so much testosterone. He's so hyped up on who knows what that he can't keep it. It's like, and I like the idea of the drummer in the band is the member of the gang. It's like,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of the, like,
You don't want to upset him.
we'd hate to have to go get Bonham.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's like
We'll be back Tuesday and we'll bring the drummer.
Yeah.
he's Dennis Rodman of drums.
Oh, yeah.
You want that? It's either
playing
Mike.
bully ball.
Your drummer, if
Yeah.
it's the Ninja Turtles, your drummer can be the Michelangelo, he could be the cool one, or he can be the Raphael.
Yeah, the
He's a
angry one.
Raphael. I have a question for you. Because I feel like it took me a while to get Jimi Hendrix, because it took me a while to understand what the world was like before Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I think
Do you know what I mean? And when you grow up in 80s and 90s, like, you grow up and it's Hendrix. But then there's all these people that came after Hendrix, so you think, of course, it's Jimi Hendrix, and then that's the electric guitar. But when you get what came before Jimi Hendrix and what he did, you really start to understand how insane and visionary and revolutionary he was. Can you just paint a picture of what was happening before Bonham and what influences you think might have led, like what would he have been listening to? And then obviously we're about to talk about a Bonham disciple. But I'm just kind of curious for a little bit of like context as to like where drumming was pre-Bonham, when kids would have dropped the needle and heard this for the first time.
I think about the lineage of American drumming starting, I think of black artists in cotton clubs. I think of Gene Krupa and the white performers who started to get into that scene and then take it, right, throughout America, and the advent of the trap kit. Yeah, the term trap kit is an old term, I think, going back to the jazz era. Even before, we had what we called our 4-piece drum kit, and it was just more of a percussion setup comprised of wood blocks, maybe a bass drum, some cymbals, all kinds of percussion fun. And then I feel like Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich, all these great drummers started having their own bands, and the drummer became forefront, right? You know, you got Sing Sing Sing. Played that in Carnegie Hall and people danced and it was a whole thing, right? Big deal. And then rock drumming, and then funk. I think about funk drumming. So I think that
Bonham kind of reminds me of Buddy Rich.
yeah, that's what I think. I think Bonham had to have been a jazz drummer.
Right.
He had to have played that.
Right.
And then he had
Mitch
to have,
Mitchell, like all those guys were just.
well, I think about the Beatles, right? So the Beatles were what happened directly before Led Zeppelin, right? That was the most important, biggest thing. And that was the first time you were allowed to put a microphone on the kick drum at Abbey Road, right? They had the
Close
lap
micing.
coats, they did that. And the drums became more than timekeeping.
I want to hear Darren play this beat.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I want to hear.
Instead of talking about the history of American
love the
drumming.
history, but I want to hear Darren
So
lay down.
the thing that was interesting to me is I think you might be wrong about it being an overdub.
Oh, the cowbell?
That's the thing that's interesting. So a few things.
Can we play that for a second?
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Here it is.
I think you might be playing it.
Okay, so what is he doing? Is it a rim? Is it a rim shot?
No, he's a cowbell. He probably has a cowbell somewhere. He
Yeah.
probably put it right here.
Yeah.
And I think the beat was something like. So if I treat this like my cowbell. Which, if that's what he's doing, it makes it even cooler because he's keeping the left foot going. Let's see if I can do it. I can do this. I can do that.
Wait,
but
Darren, how complicated is that foot roll on the drum?
It's-
What can you just solo the foot roll? Because that's like one of the most iconic things about this beat is like
Yeah.
how fast those foot rolls are happening on that kick drum
Yeah.
and the time of those foot rolls.
the
It's
feel.
so funky. What is he
there's
doing?
a double kick is a kind of a 2 for the price of 1. Instead of a single kick, you can play with your heel down, or your heel up a little bit. That's a double kick. So he's doing a triplet, a double kick triplet, right? So yeah, so those aren't
Can you
cleanest.
slow that down for us?
Yeah, I can slow it down a little bit. It's
So
kind of hard to do.
gakuku.
Yeah, when double kicks get slow enough, you just do it as a
Do
single
it as
kick.
a single
yeah.
kick.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So I think about the bass rhythm. I mean, he's doing all kinds of crazy, amazing things, but I think about the core is. And then a beautiful thing that he's doing is he's playing what I call in the cracks, which is just referring to swing percentage. Playing in the cracks is whenever a drummer is perfectly in between swung and straight, in sort of an ambiguous space. Two great examples are a lot of songs by the Meters, where Zigaboo plays kind of in that place. Another great version is the song Mandolin Rain by Bruce Hornsby.
Yeah.
So, you can swing your 16th notes a little bit or a lot. A lot would be instead of that's straight, but you can also play just a hint of lime, just a little bit of swing, which he's doing masterfully there. I try to think of other songs that have
And wait,
in the
Darren,
cracks.
so one question for you about that. It's like even in the first 30 seconds, it sounds like the amount of swing is actually changing.
flux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't that
Which is
have
sick.
to do a lot with the cowbell? Because I feel like rock and roll is straight and swing at the same time. I mean, right? That's rock and roll is straight eighths and slightly swung eighths, whether it's between the drums and the piano or the right and the left hand of the piano. And I feel like Bonham is doing that within himself.
Yes.
He's doing the straight and the swung. So like the hat is super straight, right? And then the cowbell is loosey-goosey.
The cowbell is really the thing that is...
It's funky.
The amount of swing is really changing
Yeah.
over time. And I wonder what it would sound like soloed, actually, without the guitar
That's
and
why
everything else.
it almost sounds, yes, I don't know. I'm really curious as to the story. I bet we'll find out in the comments
Can
below.
we listen to the first 30 seconds again and talk through, like... Even there,
Yeah.
he changes the amount of swing in one bar.
Yeah.
Let's listen to that again. Da 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 da. It's like, can you play that?
Yeah, it started out. You're right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's sick. The reason to me it sounds where I think he played it that way with the cowbell, I don't think it's an overdub.
Yeah.
Is because it seems like it goes away when he does fills.
Interesting.
And it seems like it's pretty in pocket with his groove. You know, when someone overdubs a cowbell,
Yeah.
usually it has its own, and that's a very cool thing, its own
Yeah.
pocket. But it really feels like it's fluctuating
Cool.
with him. That's so hard that. And that's the other thing is classic Bonham is those triplety fills, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that though. It's that
Yes. Yeah.
that kick on
Yeah.
the E's and the U's. that
Kick
makes
on
it-
the E's and the U's, just it makes your, like, for me, it just pulls me
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
It's just
really
it's
badass.
explosive.
Yes.
badass.
It's fucking just like,
It's uncontained.
Yeah.
It's like
it's unhinged.
It's unhinged.
It's unhinged.
Yes.
Yeah. We got to do another pockets and just let Darren play as loud as he wants.
I agree. Let's listen to Dave Grohl in the Foo Fighters. This is My Hero. It'll be an interesting comparison between Bonham and Grohl.
I think one of Grohl's guy, I think, is Bonham. Yeah. And it's kind of cool to hear master and disciple. And so I'm curious for you to take us through similarities in what you hear. And Grohl is obviously a master himself. So
Before we listen, Tim, you want to tell us a little bit about the song?
Yeah, My Hero was released January 1998. There's some interesting things about this. The recording was done doing 2 different drum tracks played simultaneously. And in 97, that would have been really tough. You know, we didn't really have a solid Pro Tools situation. So he had to play it like a motherfucker. So one track he's playing kick, hi-hat, snare, and crash. On the second track, he's playing kick, rack, and floor toms, as well as the snare.
What a beast.
let's take a listen.
Oh, it sounds like it.
That's a heavy song.
It is heavy. So heartfelt.
It's like badass and makes you want to cry.
Yes.
And it's like, it has so many emotions in it. You know what I mean?
And the lyrics just perfectly, there goes my hero, he's ordinary. That is like, especially nowadays. I mean, I know that song was written, whatever, 20 years ago, but like that is such a intense feeling of realizing that this person that you look up to is ordinary.
This song takes me back.
Yes.
I'm 17, I'm in my Honda CRX. Windows are down.
Yeah.
I have few problems.
Right.
I'm just cruising. Right?
Yeah, it's totally.
That takes me back, and it's so good. It sounds to me like his goal was to make drums that sound like the drummer is playing harder than humanly possible. And that must have been why he, like, no, I'm going to double track. We're going to get 2 tracks of drums going at once. I had never noticed that before, that flamming quality, and it's so sick.
You know what it
So
sounds like
beautiful.
to me? When I first heard that intro, listen to this intro. Like, I'll tell you what I thought of. Fucking college marching band. It sounds like drum corps.
Yeah.
It sounds like a field full of percussion instruments slamming as hard as they can. When we hear sounds like that, it sounds like football stadiums full of humans. Like, it sounds like a lot. It sounds like war.
Yeah.
It sounds like war drums.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the first, like what the 2 takes. It sounds like the first one might have been just, or is it just the whole time? Is it just 16ths on the kick?
Is that what it is? Wait, let's hear that.
Oh. That's just so fun to do. That's so fun. It felt like he was thinking about his show. I think that's a fun way to make music and to write music is you imagine, okay, there's going to be a crowd. I'm going to come out. What do I want to play?
Yeah.
And that's what I want. That's what you want to, like, you know, and how do we want to start the show off? I couldn't do much better than that. There's only one moment in the song where he plays 30-second notes. I feel like he understands the power of simplicity in that there's nothing, again, I'm gonna play again if that's all right. There's nothing he can do better oftentimes than, that's it. That's it, there's no other, it's like, no. You know?
It's big gestures.
Yeah.
It's fun to hear, like, take Coldplay.
Yeah.
Okay? First couple records sound so different from where they sound now, and you hear the records changing in reaction to their venues that they were playing changing.
Yeah.
You know, like the songs that you're gonna write when you're by yourself in a room or in a small club are different than, like, you can do a lot more in that venue than you can in an arena because you're writing with reverb built in. It's like, okay, I can only use so many chords because if I change chords in the middle of this bar, they're gonna hear them at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you hear bands writing more simply for a bigger room. This sounds like composed to be played in an arena.
I think about the way they're drumming, they're of course, neither Bonham nor Grohl are putting anything on their toms or
Right.
they're
No
not
muting.
putting any of no muting. They're letting them out. They're using these metal snares. They're like a classic acrolite or Black Beauty or bell brass snares. And I feel like the whole time in this song, Grohl's trying to say, what's the fewest notes that I can play for the sake of making this as powerful as possible? And I think that requires humility, and you have to be thinking about the big picture. Did he record? Didn't he play everything? Isn't this whole song
Except
only
for
him?
lead guitar, right? He didn't play lead.
Yeah, the album before this
Is the one where he played everything.
on
Okay.
the whole album.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, give us some factoids about this song.
So a lot of people think that the song is about Kurt Cobain, who of course was bandmates with Dave in Nirvana. In '97, Grohl said there's definitely an element of Kurt in that song. In a 1999 interview on the Howard Stern show, Robin Quivers said, "I think it's about Kurt Cobain," to which David Grohl said, maybe. But according to him, it's actually dedicated to ordinary, everyday heroes, as he himself has never had musical or sports heroes growing up as a child. During Foo Fighters' appearance on VH1 Storytellers in 2009, he explained the song was written while watching 80s movies like Valley Girl. He said the song was written about Pete Stahl, who was the singer of the punk band Scream, who Grohl played with, and Chip Donaldson, his mother's boyfriend, without even knowing that it was about them. So there's some factoids, gents.
I love it.
So the reason, God, I mean, I'm not going to say who it's about. I don't know. I haven't even listened closely to the lyrics. But from a harmonic and compositional standpoint, it does sound like a very tragic story.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Kurt Cobain. The sort of, like that's a very sad kind of sound. And then the,
Yep. Yeah.
That's that, you know, that Lydian thing again. That's just so sorry, right? That's like such a tragic kind of sound.
Pulls on the heartstrings.
It really pulls that major 7 in there just makes it feel like a sad story.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel like it is about Kurt.
Totally. I mean, when you write a song, who the fuck knows where that comes from? You know what I mean? Kurt was, I can't imagine what impact that would have to lose your, you know, bandmate and friend and, you know, that was his whole life. The other interesting thing about this song is just how structurally sound it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's composed so well. Every part is composed so well. Everything.
It's the opposite of that Led Zeppelin tune. It's not a bunch of jazz musicians. It is parts executed with perfection.
It's pop craftsmanship.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, because he was such a McCartney and Beatles fan, but also such a Bonham fan, and also was in Nirvana.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
can't-
just such a cool combination of those influences.
I can't imagine the courage to have been the drummer for Nirvana.
Right.
And then say, I'm going to write some songs and sing them.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for being a part of this series. If you have more suggestions for things that we should react to, please go ahead and leave us suggestions in the comments below. Huge thank you to Darren for being a part of this today. Thank you, Tim, for engineering. And this has been Professional Musicians React. We will see you next week.